Voice of the people.
Others may drop the mic. I talk into it. If you're in need of a voice, well, I've got one.
Voice of the people, 96.1 FM.
It's thrilling, controversial, heated, thought-provoking. Catch Rufai Oseni.
Came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal.
Kesire Aqua.
Report was that $9 billion is lost yearly to illegal mining.
And Simeon Sunday.
If you know something of this nature is happening within your community, why didn't you raise an alarm?
On the Frontpage Review, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. Now, you have a voice.
Good morning to you and welcome to Front Page Review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. This is the Friday edition of the show. We're winding down to the end of the week, and of course the news will not be winding down as well. We're going to be talking about the news every single day, but hey, we're seeing a lot of things happening in the news right now, but this is the platform where you have the opportunity to air your views. This is Voice of the People 96.1 FM. My name is Gesiri, and unfortunately Simeon is still under the weather. He'll be joining us on Monday, but today for some reason the weather just keeps messing with me. Apologies, I'm going to be sniffling almost all through the show, but hey, bear with us, okay? I'll be joined shortly by Rufai Oseni, and we'll be looking at a couple of headlines. We're looking at the Ondo politics, confirming the Ondo State Assembly, confirming and pledging support for Ayedatiwa, and confirming the Deputy Governor of the state. Well, we'll be looking at that in just a moment. We've got the DHQ saying that 94 terrorists killed, 43 oil thieves arrested. We also have the Plateau killings, where the CAN chairman shunned DHQ's invitation and 10 corpses were recovered. Now, there's also another headline here talking about Japa syndrome, where a fire service foiled a suicide bid over 2 million naira failed visa deal. Wow. We'll be looking at that in just a moment. Power generation also crashes to 3,383 megawatts despite the hike in tariffs. We'll be looking at why that is the case, really. We need to understand what's going on with the power and the power generation as a whole. Now, we have Labour also saying that the masses are losers of Tinubu's reforms. Good morning, Mr. Rufai Oseni.
Hello, guys. How are you, man?
Morning to you. All right. Let's start with Ondo State and the House of Assembly. Yesterday, the Speaker of Ondo State House of Assembly, Mr. Olamide Oladiji, on Thursday pledged support to the legislature of Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa for the people to enjoy more dividends of democracy. Now, they had on Wednesday forwarded Adelami, that's Mr. Olayide Adelami, on the floor of the House and for screening and confirmation as Deputy Governor. Well, right now, looking at the politics of Ondo State, just how much of a support will Akeredolu's supporters give Ayedatiwa at this point in time?
I mean, Ayedatiwa was strategic and he knew what he wanted. Deliberately went to somebody that came from Owo, the Akeredolu area. But the man he picked as deputy governor is not a small fry. I mean, he had run in various aspirations to become governor at a point, still a member of the party. And he has a lot of civil service experience, starting from the 80s, and he rose up the ranks to becoming the deputy national clerk of the House of Assembly. So he has multivariate experience and accountant by training. And we just can only wish the good people of Ondo the very best and hope that things pan out well for them. That's all we can wish.
All right, looking
but
at...
I got to stabilize and things.
All right. Looking at the politics of Ondo State now, Ondo State is a state where the people will try as much as they can. They enjoyed, the past governor, God rest his soul. They enjoyed his governance to a certain extent, but they had their own fair share of insecurity here and there. What we're hoping is that there's not going to be any issue moving forward for the people of Ondo State.
Yeah, I mean, we just wish them the best, and we just hope that we're lucky. Ayedatiwa should be able to step ahead of his spirit and start about it. The former governor, Rufai Oseni, of less memories, led the way by setting up something called Amotebu. We just hope that we are able to sustain that and able to bring peace and succor to the people of Ondo. I would like to talk about a matter that is dear to my heart. And when we call on accountability of the leader of the nation, we're sure that President Tinubu must have accountability. Recently, there's a tweet making the rounds by the Namibian presidency that was talking about the fact that Namibian president has cancer and is going to America for treatment. And you can see the level of accountability to the people. Somebody will ask the question, why is it that we don't hear what is really going on about the health of our leaders? All we just hear is private visits and all of that. We'd like to call on accountability by President Tinubu. Please, if it's not too much to ask, I don't think it's even too much to ask for somebody that is depending on taxpayers' money that the state pretty much feeds and clothes and does everything for. We should be able to release his health records to us. Because we don't understand this private visit where he goes 2 weeks, and they take advantage of the fact that, okay, there's a lacuna to hand over power. The lacuna is on 21 days. So if we are within that 21 days frame, it's all right. That's what the Constitution says. But we must be able to know what this is. I mean, the president of Namibia come out says he's dealing with cancer. He's dealing with cancer. In the state of our day, for instance, a lot of people did not even know what was wrong with him. But once the diagnosis was made and the biopsy revealed was cancer, the president of Namibia came out. So this has led the way and shown a lot of those people that argue wrongly that it's not an African thing to reveal about your health and everything. No, you've seen it. You've seen it. The president, the fellow black man, the God has led the way. Enough said.
All right. Looking at this issue in the country, we're talking insecurity. We're having the Plateau killings. The CAN chairman has shunned an invitation by the DHQ. The Nigerian police force on Thursday said it had recovered no fewer than 10 corpses in various locations in the Mangu local government area of Plateau State, and the CAN chairman in the Mangu local government area of Plateau State, Reverend Timothy Dallock, said he would not withdraw the allegations against troops on the crisis, nor would he honor any invitation by the military. He said he was invited by the defense headquarters over his recent comment against the military on the killings in Mangu. Recall that armed men on Wednesday morning had launched a fresh attack in the state. Well, Mr. Rufai, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because yesterday he talked about complacency on the part of the military. We've seen.
No, it's pure and simple. The CAN chairman is not going to withdraw his statement. That's what he said, and he stands by his word. Why did he say that in the first place? Because he has seen a pattern and a trend, and he's the one on ground. If you want to gag him, do anything to him, he has said his bits. People must be able to stand for something in the country. It is incumbent on the military now to not show that they are not complicit by bringing to an end all of this. I mean, these people, these bandits or criminals should not have more power than the military. So if he has said that, yes, and why is the military inviting him over? Have people not said worse in this country? Did the military invite them over? That's part of the unfairness we normally see. With all the things Sheikh Gumi said, he's not working in Freeman in this country. Huh? Yeah, with all the things Sheikh Gumi said, he's not working in Freeman in this country.
All right. We also have in insecurity, we also have the DHQ stating their determination to eliminate the cancer of terrorism in the country. And it said that combat operations have been revved up through the deployment of special forces in the different hotspots in the FCT and in Plateau State. He said also deployed in the hotspots are battlefield enablers to enhance operational intelligence and strike capability of troops against terrorists. Now, Rufai, this particular concern is a concern of mine. It regards intelligence gathering. Now, we've seen situations where the military has been able to forestall a potential strike, like nip it in the bud before it occurs, all over the world. We've seen situations where, an alert was issued and then they were able to forestall any attack on citizens. Why is it that we haven't been able to successfully do that? Is it that there are moles within the military that are aiding these individuals successfully carry out whatever that they're carrying out?
That's why the military must stand up and be accountable. And these recurrent issues of complicity people talk about, the military must do more to be able to quash it. They must be able to purge themselves and check within and check properly. The Yorubas have a saying, what it means is, if the eye looks properly, you see the nose. I know it's very difficult for the eye to see the nose, but when you look properly, you can see the nose. You don't have to look at it in the mirror, you see the nose. So, they need to purge themselves. Secondly, they need to have a holistic intelligence gathering and also be able to gain the trust of people. So, to a large extent, I've seen cases where people are kidnapped, they are liaising with the police, and all the things they are telling the police, the kidnappers are telling them back. I mean, how can you imagine that? So those are the stories that have made people feel very shocked about the system, and they are not ready to bring out information because they don't know who is who. There are stories of people that went to avail the police information, and they came back, and the assailants that they have information about came back and killed them. So let's be very careful. Let's be very careful.
All right, Mr. Rufai, we've had different operations by the military, had in Kai, had it in Daji, and all of that over the north, all through the north. And we heard reports that it's because of the successful nature of these operations that's causing, terrorists to move towards the Federal Capital Territory, because for the past couple of weeks we've been seeing an increase in the amount of kidnappings, in the amount of just tenseness within the capital city. Now the question is, if the military knows that when we surmount pressure in the north, these guys are going to move to the south, why can't we waylay them as they are moving towards the south, so that it's a holistic, it's a double operation at this point in time? Isn't it possible?
Well, that's why we keep talking about the fidelity of information we have and intelligence and all of that. See, I don't think if there were no levels of complicity or lack of intelligence that this insurgency should have lasted for this while. We should have been able to crush this insurgency as well and bring back peace and restore sanity to our country. But only God knows why this has persisted. But in all of this, then how do we stem the tide? I think that's the biggest question we have not done the good work at answering. And it's during the time when we need to be honest. 2, we need to have a strategic approach. 3, there has to be a combination of many factors. Also, this feeds into the economic nature of Nigeria. The economy is not abating, it's very bad. Yesterday we reached an all-time low for the dollar to the naira, over 1,400, and we can be eating up to 1,500 before end of the month. And that's the sad reality of things we're seeing in the country. So probably that 2,000 mark is almost reality now. And at the same time, Atiku Abubakar is asking questions that the $3 billion said you were going to get, that NNPC broke you. Why did you even have a SPV in the first place to broker that? Secondly, where is the money? What are the terms around the money? How are we going to pay back? How much crude are we going to pay back? And these are the very salient questions that he was asking. So there are many, faux pas, as it were, on the part of the government that it needs to solve vis-a-vis the security issue. And these are things that fundamentally we need to look into, and that we've not looked into. So it's a holistic approach. We need to fix the economy. We need to give people an economic leeway, ensure that the economy attracts a lot of jobs and provide jobs. When you say the Western world, the reason why people go abroad or Japan is not because the conditions are better. The conditions are hard, you work hard, the bills are higher and all of that. But for the fact that the economy has grown to a certain extent that there are jobs. So at least people can get into gain employment. And that's the problem with Nigeria. Unemployment rate is at an all-time low. The last indices we used to measure was about 33%. Probably if we still use that index, it should be about over 40%. But now we've changed it. The index, that's why it's reading 4%. So the reflection of the unemployment in the country. So there are many things, and the earlier we look at these things, the better for all of us.
All right, you did mention Jakba and the state of the economy and all of that. Yesterday, the Kano State Fire Service, they had rescued a 37-year-old Saifali Rabiu, who had allegedly attempted to commit suicide over a failed deal. Now, they stated that the incident happened on Thursday morning at a particular road in a local government area of Kano State. Now, they said they had received a distress call at about 10 a.m. from the Ministry of Works about a suicide attempt by hanging on a tree. Upon receiving that information, they sent out the fighting vehicles to go, abate that. Now, during the interrogation, it was gathered that Rabiu had connected some people to those that processed travel visas to foreign countries, which was successful. Those he tried to help, however, rejected the visa, saying it was not the type they paid for, and demanded for a refund of their money already paid to the processors. And they gathered that he was able to raise $500,000 only, but pressure and threats from the people he wanted to assist made him try to take his own life. Now, the reason why I'm torchlighting this is because of this incessant Jakba syndrome that we're having in the country. How come it's not a thing of concern to the president, as it were? Because this particular situation, you're having a lot of Nigerians jetting out of the country with no hopes of returning, because these individuals are tending to relocate completely. They don't want to come back to Nigeria anymore because they don't see a future. They don't see something ahead of them. They don't see, we always say the leaders of tomorrow, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. We're not seeing that, however long the tunnel is. So is it that the president and this particular government isn't prioritizing ensuring that Nigerians and their standard of living is at least to a certain level good enough for them?
I mean, it's a reflection of the economy. So I'll take you back to 82, 83. In fact, it was a very big campaign then that was on television. And if you remember, there was a particular character played by Enebeli Enebowa, and he played the fictional character of Andrew that wanted to check out. Then it wasn't even called Japa, then it was check out. Andrew. And I think in about 85, 86, thereabouts, in fact, to be able to increase the optimism in the country, because the economy has started to do worse before 86, finally, when the second-tier foreign exchange market began, that really devalued the naira even more. But we had started to see the frictions. In the early 80s, we had a boom in the 70s. There was a lot of money, but we were corrupt. Just like what is happening in Nigeria today. We couldn't account for the money. We had Festac in 77, corruption everywhere. We had the cement armada. But by the end of 80, crude oil price had slumped. The economy had gone bad. At first, we said, it was the Ghanaians coming here to take our jobs, so we kicked them out. Ghana must go, pack them in the border one day like that, and just said they should go. Then, when it now dawned on us that the Ghanaians were not our problem, that it was just economic mismanagement and corruption, that led to Buhari coming in then, complicated matters, and also led to emergence of Babangida then in the 80s. So it's been a 40-year cycle of a downward spiral. For the last 40 years now, Nigeria has been a downward spiral. Some policy has stabilized, but it's been a downward spiral. And the song then, Brother Mario Guy Wax, was, Andrew, no leave town, no, Nigeria go survive. So the question is, why are people leaving? The people are leaving because the economy is bad. Pure and simple. Nigerians are not people that love to leave their country. See, I took a toll and I was speaking to a lot of Nigerians that went to school in the UK in the 70s. Over 60 to 70% of them were bullish about coming back, and they came back to Nigeria. They didn't stay back in the UK. They came back to Nigeria. People were from Nigeria buy homes and things like that in the UK because the economy was strong, the naira was strong in the 70s, and it was a good time for the economy. But the reason why people want to leave is because of the state of the economy. But for the man that wanted to kill himself, please, the downfall of a man is not the end of his life. You need to be focused, you need to redouble your efforts, and work at repaying back your loans. Probably you don't know what, the ray of hope will shine on you. Today, everything seems dark, but things are going to get better. Please be encouraged.
All right. The Katsina State Governor is calling for state policing. He says that, states should be able to establish their police commands. Now, a lot of people have called for state policing. I've read a couple of articles, and in seeing the way the governors themselves relate with monies, relate with the structure of the state, should the governors even be allowed to have such control over policing? Because we see governors who strong arm the members of the state assembly, we see governors who strong arm the individuals, the citizens of the state. So should they even be allowed such authority?
No, you can create the state police, and not necessarily make the governor run it. You can create the state police and make it be under a state trust fund, and you just allow the executive put some money into the fund, and you have a constituted body that will be able to run it every single time. That's just it. There are many models to it. All we just want is we want more policing on the grassroots. That's all we want, through state police. So there are many models, not necessarily that the executive must be able to run it. No. You can create a state police service commission that is also like a state police trust fund, and they can run it with accountability, and you can get people of interest on the board to be able to run it and create oversight for it. There are many models to it. It doesn't have to be under executive powers and all of that. There's a way there are many ways to couch it. And he has not, before he died, he has not been overreaching as regards Amotekun, and there's been a lot of acts. And he ran it diligently by getting somebody from the military forces to come in. So
all right.
I gotta go now. Bless you so much.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufai, for joining.
Thank you so much for your time.
Have a good day. Nigeria is playing tomorrow. I don't know.
I wish our Super Eagles have been very unimpressive, but I wish them well because of Nigeria. But I'm not expecting anything. Not that Cameroon is any better. Anyway, wish them well.
All right. Thank you so much. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.
Bless you. Yeah.
See you on Monday.
See you on Monday. Talk to you by His grace. Yeah.
All right, to you listening, thank you so much for listening to the Front Page Review. Let's pay some bills. When we come back, I'll be checking out a couple of other stories, and then we'll cut a little wrap on the Friday edition of the Front Page Review. Stay with us.
Voice of the People, 96.1 FM.
Are you traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop from the Lagos airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the